Hello there everyone, this is Phantom Duels here, and today I'm going to be doing what if Deku was the reincarnation of Mihawk, the movie. This is technically my first one shot. I'm sorry for the people that wanted the other parts of what if Deku was the reincarnation of Mihawk, but for those people I'm going to be doing technically the ending of that series, but in another version, I'm going to redo it in this one. So yeah, this is going to be the movie for what if Deku was the reincarnation of Mihawk. So we'll start off at where Deku was 4 years old. He was going to the quirk doctor. He had it in this one. He had it siblings, and his father was All Might, stepfather and stepsister. All Might had a kid before meeting Inko. Her name was no, not Oh My. This was Inko's second daughter, and Izuku was Inko's first son. So her name is Izumi, and Izuku's name is still Izuku. Sooner or later, he won't. I'm gonna call him Izuku for now, but not Deku because once he leaves, just not forget about the name Deku. So we'll start off at where Izuku was 4 years old, and 4 years old. He went to the quirk doctor with his mother and sister. Oma is his stepfather. As Enko wasn't expecting something bad. As Shikizuku and her went to the quirk doctor, the quirk doctor told Enko that I'm sorry, ma'am, but your son Izuku is quirkless. But your daughter Izumi has a powerful pyrokinesis quirk. Inko was happy for her daughter, but for Izuku, she was anger. She thought that the most hyperactive one of the family would have a quirk, but Izumi was more happy. She was more happy that Izuku was quirkless because she didn't like Izuku. She absolutely didn't like him. The reason is because he had more energy. He never did anything wrong. He never did anything wrong in school, and he just kept getting bullied. But she wasn't the one. She was the one bullying him. As Isuku was sad, he then said, "Mom, our mom." As he said, "Mom." Uncle then said, "Thank you, doctor. Thank you for the good and bad news. I will be leaving." She left with her two children. Uncle was like, Uncle heard Isuku saying, "Mom." Mom, as she said, "Shut up! I'm not your mother." As Isuku said, "What, Mom? What's wrong?" As Isuku, then she said again, "I said to shut up, you worthless, quirkless kid." As Isuku said, "But Mom, what's wrong?" Then, then Inko used her telekinesis quirk and started making Isuku float. She then slammed him into the ground. As Isuku said, "Mom, what's that for?" Then she said, "Because you're a quirkless loser. You can't even bring money to our family." As Isuku said, "Mom, why are you doing this?" Let's say Isuku was. Oh, I forgot to explain Isuku's appearance. Isuku is born with black hair and Mihawk's eyes were like yellow. Basically, he was born with the type of eyes that Mihawk has. He had a black hair as same as any anime, but his eyes were the same as Mihawk from One Piece. So yeah, basically Naruto Izuku has yellow eyes with one big circle in the middle that is yellow. So yeah, that's all. That's the only things Izuku has for now from Mihawk. As Izuku, as Izuku was shocked to see this that his mother told him that she's no longer his mother. But then Izuku just said, "Okay, mom," as he didn't care. The more he became sad, the more he gains Mihawk's attitude. As Izuku said, then Izuku said, "This is what I am for, just to suffer this all." Then he said that really low, so I'm sorry if you couldn't hear. He basically said, "This is what I am for. I'm just nothing." As Izuku just kept talking. So we continue. As we go to the, then we go to where is, to where to where we meet Oh My or Toshinari. As Toshinari says, "Inko, how was it?" As Inko looked at Toshinari and says, "It wasn't great. Our daughter over here has a powerful pyrokinesis quirk." As Toshinari said, "Hmm, maybe I could give her one for all." As the one for all users just facepalm, all of them, including the first. As the first was disappointed in Toshinari, Nana Shimura was even more disappointed in him. Then Izuku looked at Omai and said, "Hi, Dad," as Omai was about to hug Izuku until Inko put her arm on the way and said, "And our son over here, Izuku." And our son Izuku over here is a quirkless kid. As Omai looked at Izuku and said, "You're quirkless, Izuku?" And Omai has a quirk in this one? Yeah, to make it even more worse. His quirk is kind of like a good healing quirk. You know what? It's a powerful healing quirk that could heal his wound that All for One gave him. Because I'm making Izuku give him another wound. I'm making him a villain. I'm just doing the opposite. As we go to Izuku, we see Izuku getting stared at by All Might and his mother and Izumi. But Izumi was glad that Izuku was getting glared at by his own family. As Izuku said, "Mom, Dad," as All Might said, "Shut it, you quirkless loser. I'm not your father." As Inko said the same thing, scaring Izuku. As Izuku said, "Dad, Mom," as Inko slapped him and said, "Don't call me mother, you quirkless loser." As then, all my Detroit, I don't want Izuku to get killed, so let's just say Izuku's original quirk was a healing quirk. So yeah, I'm giving Mihawk a buffed up a bit. I'm giving him a healing quirk. That's Izuku's main quirk, but his real power is based on Mihawk. So don't worry, it's not always gonna be like that. It's just to heal him every time that he gets punched and hit by All Might. As All Might Detroit smash Izuku into a into a wall. As Izuku instantly heal, as everyone thought Izuku has a quirk, but they didn't care. They they did this every week, every day, until Izuku was, let's say 8 years old. Izuku has gotten the full attitude of Mihawk. He's no longer kind. He's heartless. No, Mihawk isn't really heartless. He is kind in a short version, but in other saying he's not really. He has two personalities, Mihawk and his. When he uses Mihawk, he is not a kind-hearted person. When he uses his, he's a kind-hearted person. As Izuku was looking, as Izuku was looking at his sister while he was walking to school, she was smiling, saying, "Mom and Dad got me a new phone. Mom and Dad got me a new phone." As Izuku said, "She is a spoiled brat. Why does she care what she gets? She's just a spoiled brat who been spoiled her whole life." As Izuku has not been treated well. His mom and dad have been has been just beating him up, and that quirk of his healing has gotten to the ultimate of the ultimate of the best of the healing. Every time that they touch him, his healing will just instantly heal any wound, but they won't see it will just fake that he's hurt. As Izuku, as Izuku looked at Izumi as they were walking to school, and yes, Bakugo was beating him up, people, beating him up. Like when I mean beating him up, I mean like they were destroying him. But Izuku, every time that they left him, he just healed up. Then we continue to the point where Izuku reaches school. Bakugo is afraid. Bakugo and his goons are not afraid of Izuku because Izuku has only the personality of Mihawk. Oh, I got an idea now. As we continue, Izuku reached school. As we skip to the later in the school, Izuku was Izuku was just sitting on his chair, writing on his notebooks about heroes. But he's no longer All My fan. He's a Eraserhead fan. Even though he's not that famous, he's still a fan of him. As Izuku looked at was sooner or later got an explosion straight at his book. As his book went into the pond with all the fishes as in the anime. Then then Izumi and oh, one more thing, Izumi and Bakugo are dating. Yeah, who never thought that would happen? As Izuku then looked at Izumi and said, "Izumi Midoriya, what do you want?" As Bakugo said, "Talk to her with respect, you quirkless loser." As Izuku said, "Fine." Izuku, Izumi Midoriya, what do you need? As she said, "We want you to die." As Bakugo started to throw explosions at Deku, but Deku was just like this, was just looking at him and said, "Die a hell." As a massive wave of energy from his body, yes, conquer hockey. Yeah, I'm giving him all five hockey natures. I know Mihawk could have hockey, but the conquer hockey one, but I never really see him have it. But so yeah, Izuku then used conquer and made every one of them fall unconscious as he walked out of the school. No one knew who did anything because Izuku doesn't have power, so they couldn't know it was him. As Izuku was walking home, so basically, the slug villain didn't happen until later. So we continue. Izuku went home. He went home as she was about to knock on the door until he saw All Might stare at him. All Might then said, you quirkless beat person. What are you doing at my house?" As Izuku said, "I live here." All Might said, "Go to your room." Then Izuku said, "I will," as he went to his room. As we go to a certain point, Izumi comes back and doesn't remember anything. As she said, "I was just on the floor." Uh, Izuku was just sitting on his bed, meditating, reading a book, meditating and kind of reading a book. Sorry about that. As Deku decides to get up and go outside, then All Might says in a kind voice, "Izuku, will you wanna go visit your grandfather?" Yeah, All Might didn't tell anyone about his grandfather. Only Inko and Izumi know that his grandfathers are dead. As Izuku says, "Yes, yes, yes, yes. I would love to meet my grandfathers," in a happy tone. Sorry about that. Then Izuku, then Izuku says, "I would love to go meet my grandfathers, my grandparents. I mean." Then, yeah. Then Izuku continues. As All Might and Izuku left on the car, they asked. Then All Might and Izuku leave to a certain place, a forest. All Might then says, Izuku, die. As All Might grabs Izuku, Detroit smashes him to a wall. Destroy smashes him to the waterfall. Yes, there was a waterfall. I'm making him go unconscious. In a coma-like state, but there'll be something else. As Izuku goes into the waterfall, he continues to the point where he just swam into a cave. Sorry about me being quiet. I'm just keep getting interrupted. As Izuku got into the cave, he was still on sleep. As he reached as he reached land, he was sleeping. As he was in a coma-like state, we appear in front of Mihawk himself, as Mihawk says. Yeah, so you are my reincarnation. You seem a lot more powerful than I would think you would be. As Izuku then said, and you seem a lot more cocky than I thought you would be. As Mihawk's eyes widened, he was like, what the heck is this kid? He just spoke like me. As Mihawk laughed and said, well kid, we'll be training for. So basically, Izuku was 13 when he went to when he went to the when he was going to My Hero Academia. So um, give me a second. I'm gonna have to do a calculation to see how many years is not at last an 8-year old to become a 13-year old. Nine. Yeah, let's do 5 years. Oh no, it's 6 years. I'm sorry. He went when he was 14. So yeah, Izuku. As we skip 6 years, Izuku was 14 years old. In those 6 years, Izuku has merged with Mihawk. As Izuku gained all the memories of Mihawk's abilities and sword, as Mihawk's sword was in the cave with Izuku in a rock. And the reason why as Mihawk's sword was with Izuku was because the person that brought Mihawk to this world made his sword be at a certain location because he knew the future that comes for the reincarnation of Mihawk. As Mihawk said, well kid, I will be watching you from above. Goodbye. As Mihawk and him fuse. Izuku has grown to the same height as Mr. Aizawa. He's the same. No, you know what? He's the same height as all my buff form. Yes, I know. He kinda. He has. He has the same amount of muscle as Mihawk, and he wears the same clothing as Mihawk. Let's just say the guy that brought Mihawk as well brought the clothing and the hat. Izuku doesn't. Yeah, you know what? He has the same clothing as Mihawk and everything, just that he wears a shirt on under the coat of Mihawk. Shizuku wears the same necklace as Mihawk. As he looks exactly like Mihawk. But don't forget, erase the mustache and the other things, just the hair and everything else. As Shizuku woke up, he went to the rock that had a Yoru Mihawk's sword. I'm really sorry if I can remember Mihawk's sword's name, but he grabbed that sword, ripped it out of the stone like it was nothing, put it on his back, and said, it's been at least 6 years since I've been in the outside world. Let's see what's gonna happen. As he started to walk, he then jumped up as he jumped over the waterfall that brought him to this cave. As he started to run to the city. Sorry about that. So yeah, then we go to up to where Isuku reaches the city. This is where the slug villain attack happens. Izuku all might capture the slug villain, but this time it was Bakugo who was the one who clutched onto All Might and tell him about the thing. As All Might said, yes, he could still be a hero. Then the slug villain still catches up Bakugo. As all the heroes were standing back, they were saying, "What are we supposed to do? We don't have the right quirks for this." As as All Might was as All Might wasn't able to do his job because you know what, he could, but All Might wasn't there in time. As Izuku then said, "So these are the heroes we all call saviors. I am disappointed." As he grabbed his sword, swinged it once, slashing through the slug villain. As everyone was shocked to see a kid, a 15-year-old kid, just swinging a sword and then cutting through a slug villain. As Izuku then opened used Conquered and knocked out the slug villain. As he grabbed a water bottle, put him in there, tied him up, and said to the heroes, "Make sure to not let him out of that water bottle, or he'll suck your body." As they were shocked and said, "Kid, who are you?" As Izuku said, "Call me Mihawk." As Izuku put his sword in his back and jumped off, leaving everyone in a shock. As Izuku was saying, as we skip to a few weeks later, the USJ the UA exam still hasn't happened, and All Might still doesn't know who Izuku is, or the vigilante Mihawk is. Yes, Mihawk is a vigilante. As Mihawk, you know what? For now, since Izuku's a vigilante, I'm gonna call him Mihawk. As Mihawk was just looking around the city until a certain someone, the one and only, the caterpillar guy, the caterpillar person who likes to sleep in the caterpillar form, Mr. Aizawa. As Mr. Aizawa, or Eraserhead, says, "Mihawk the Vigilante. It's really nice to see you here in the middle of our city, even though you know that you can get caught." As Shizuku says, "Yes, I do know Aizawa, but..." As Shizuku went to his other side, his kind side, as he said, "Can I please have your autograph?" As Mr. Aizawa was shocked, as he said, "Okay." Shizuku then took out a paper and knowing as and Eraser has signed it. As Eraser has said, "How do you how do you know about me, and why did you want my autograph?" As Shizuku said, "Why not? You're a hero who doesn't like to be seen." As Mr. Aizawa laughed. He was shocked. Mr. Aizawa thought that no one really knew about him, but Izuku knew about him for sure. Then Mr. Aizawa said, "Okay, Izuku, time. Well, not Izuku. Okay, Vigilante Mihawk, time for you to come with me. All of us, all the heroes in UA, have a deal for you." As Izuku looked at Mr. Aizawa, or Eraserhead, and said, "What deal?" As Mr. Aizawa said, "Well, come with me then." Then Izuku left with Mr. Aizawa with no shocking. He didn't argue. He just said, "I'll come with you. Don't care. I'll just come with you." Yeah, that no caring attitude that the basically I'm giving Izuku another attitude, the no caring attitude. Izuku just went in and said, "Well, this is UA High, right?" Yeah. UA is still a high school. Don't worry, don't worry. I'm making it a college. If I would, the series would have gone the opposite way. Mr. Aizawa said yes. Mr. Aizawa told Isuku to call him Mr. Aizawa here. As Mr. Aizawa said, as Isuku said, okay, Mr. Aizawa. As Isuku, as Isuku took, as Isuku went with Mr. Aizawa to the meeting room where all the top 10 heroes were at. Oh yeah, ship for this was Momo, because one person in my one person in one of my what ifs, I don't remember how long ago, she asked for a Momo ship in this, and I technically made it a harem, but nah, what's the point? As Izuku looked at all the heroes and saw All Might wasn't there, as All Might just laughed. So yeah, we continue. So we're going to the point where Izuku was sitting on a chair with his legs on the sea. All the heroes were looking at him. He said, one of the heroes said, "This was." Who would be brave enough to tell Izuku to put his feet down? Yeah, I know. Endeavor. Endeavor says, "You put your feet down and show some respect to all of us heroes." As Izuku said, "Hmm, hmm. Doesn't look like I care." As Izuku put his hat up and showed his eyes, as they saw no caring, no emotion, no nothing. Then Izuku said, Do you have anything to tell me, Endeavor? I have seen what you done to your kids, and I know what you did to your son Todoroki, or should I say Shoto Todoroki. So choose correctly who you're telling to shut up. I can tell everyone here what you do to your family, and you'll end up getting to jail. So tell me, you're gonna shut up or not? As Endeavor just said, I will. Then everyone was wondering, how do you know so much about this? As Shizuku said, I'm a vigilante for some reason, and people don't know how I look. They know how I look, but they only see me a yellow eye, and now you see how I look. So what's the point of not telling you? As Shizuku took his sword out of his back and put it on the table, as everyone saw his sword was black. Not it was not like a regular sword, it was more sharper. It looked normal, but it was sharp. As Isuku said, touch my sword and you will die. As everyone was just said, we won't. Then we continue to Nezu speaking. Okay, Mr. Mihawk, we would like to make a deal with you. A deal that you cannot disagree with. This deal is, would you like to join UA High? And once you join it, we won't press any charges against all the people that you have gone after. As Isuku said, technically, I only knocked them out. If you've seen the people that I do, they're only knocked out. They were like, what does it mean they were only knocked out? As Isuku said, I'm not joking. They were only knocked out. Then, then Nesu shows the videos and they see that Izuku wasn't kidding. They were all knocked out. They see Izuku just using the handle of his sword to knock them all out, or using his hands to knock them all out. As Izuku said, well, you don't have any charges against me because I only knocked them out. So yeah, boy. You wanna press charges against me? Press charges against your own ass. Uh, sorry about the cursing. I just said that by mistake. But yeah, uh, they were all shocked As he said that, Izuku said, "You want to press charges against your own thing, against your own, against your own problems, not mine, not yours, not anything." Then Nesu just said, "I'm sorry. So yeah, we won't press charges against you, but wouldn't it be better to get a hero license?" As Izuku said, let me think. Yeah, I'll join school. I have nothing left of being a vigilante, so I might as well join you. Uh, they just looked at him and were like, "Huh? It was that easy to get you to join?" Arizuku said, "Oh, you never asked. You only said that you would press charges against me. You didn't say you didn't say that you were going. Didn't say you were going to lem. You didn't say you weren't going to press charges. You were like about you say you were gonna press charges, but not. But you were actually wait. I'm saying so many things. But basically, Isuku said you say you were gonna press charges, not actually just asking me to join. So yeah, it's your fault. As all my Sisu, as all of them were shocked. Then they all looked down and said, "Okay, we're sorry." Shizuku said, "Cool then. I will be leaving now." As Shizuku jumped off his chair, put his sword on his back, and said, "Netsu, if school starts tomorrow, I will be there. I will be there." As Netsu said, "Yes, yes, young Mihawk." As Izuku said, "Call me Izuku Midoriya." That's what people that know me call me. As Izuku jumped off from the window, landed on his legs perfectly, not caring, perfectly. As Izuku said, "Now, who's next?" Ooh. Nah, he said, I'm sorry, I just said now who's next by mistake. He said, "Now, what's next?" Then we see Izuku walking, walking to the next day of school. He was walking around the the city until he reached the UA entrance exam. Izuku could have gone through recommendation, but he said, "I don't give. I don't give the crap so if I don't got to go." As Izuku said, "Well, the entrance exam might be funny." So yeah, if you guys think this is bad, this is my first one shot, so I can't really blame you guys. As Izuku was in front of the lines, Uraraka was talking with Ida this time. Lit Ida, yeah, Ida. As Ida saw Izuku with a sword, and he asked, "Can I ask you who is that part of your is that part of your quirk?" So yeah, as Izuku said, "No, I'm not." Mm. So we continue to the second part. As Izuku was in front of the written exam, President Mike already introduced everything. He introduced the 0 pointer, the hero system, and everything until they had the written exam. Izuku has Mihawk's knowledge, so let's start writing. So we continue. As Izuku finished the test, he put it on the ground and left outside. Then, so we go to the second thing. So we're in front of a entrance exam to destroy the robots. Izuku was just there as everyone came there. Then we have the other people who are fighting. Then we have another part where everyone was fighting against Roba. Izuku said, "Well, I think I should end everything in only 2 or 3 seconds." I'm gonna pause for your. You guys see what I mean when I say I might get interruption, a lot of interruptions. As Izuku then said, "Well, time to kill us. Time to get a higher place than everyone else." As Izuku grabbed the sword and swing the ones, destroying at least 50 3-pointers. As everyone was shocked, then Izuku started to punch robots. He started to punch two. He started to punch 2-pointers, 3-pointers, 4-pointers. I don't really remember if it was 4-pointers, but Izuku actually started to punch 3-pointers, 4-pointers, not 6 pointers, 3 to 2. As Izuku was already in the second place behind Bakugo. He had at least 456 points. As Izuku kept punching, as Izumi saw this guy was like a killing machine. As Izuku then grabbed a small knife, he engulfed it in Haki and threw it at a robot, striking it through the head. As Izuku then jumped, grabbed the knife, and started to walk on the wall. As he started to go to the roof, as he jumped, he was already first place. He had at least 560 points. Then Izuku made it to. Then Izuku was at where? Let's say he was in front of in on top of a building, in front of the 0 pointer. As Izuku said, "Ah, my God, my head hurts from doing this much punching." As Izuku then laughed and said, "Ha, who cares?" As Izuku, as Izuku saw a girl, just an ordinary, random girl, not Momo, not Waraka. Izuku grabbed the sword, the giant one, put it into a point where he can throw it as he engulfed it in Haki and threw the sword, slashing through the robot. Or he could have just did, or he did this instead. He grabs his sword and goes over Haki and slice once through the wind, slicing through the robot as everyone saw Izuku swing his sword. Then Izuku, then Izuku said this. Well, well, well. Looks like that girl doesn't need my help anymore. As then Izuku jumped, put his in, put his arm in armament Haki and punched the pieces of the robot, sending it flying back to other buildings. Nessa said, "Let's give him another test," smiling creepy, as everyone in UA was shocked. They were so shocked that not even All Might that not even All Might saw this. As All Might said, "Oh no," then Izuku saw the four more 0 pointers. Izuku then said. Isuku looked around. He used observation hockey and found the camera. See, jumped over there, found the camera, and said, "Nezu, if you're summoning out more robots, you are stupider than I thought you'll be. I thought you're the smartest person in the world." As he then put the camera back down and jumped through the robots, as he swinged his sword once in the air, cutting their heads off. As Isuku then said, "This is how much. A lot of money is worth on robots. Tsk, not even a sweat." As Isuku then left the class, the the test was already over. As everyone was shocked, Izumi and Bakugo were shocked as well. As we continue, All Might was in was really surprised. Everyone else as well. Endeavor touched his neck and said, "That could have been me." As All Might just looked at Endeavor and said, "Endeavor, are you okay?" As Endeavor said, "Yes, All Might, I'm alright." Then All Might said, "Is this kid who I think he is?" Then we go to to where it's Izuku's first day of UA. Izuku was and was going to class one day. As he looked at the door and said, "Dang, this door is huge." And this was Izuku's attitude, not Mihawk's. That's he put on Mihawk's attitude and said, "I." As Izuku had his hat covering his face. Then he sat down on his chair and he put his boots on his table and and fell asleep. As everyone else from class 1A came, Momo saw Izuku and was interested in him. As she sat down and looked at him, she was like, "This might be the hero who saved my mother." He was wearing the same red cloak as him. As we go to a flashback. This is the part where Izuku save Momo's mother and her from a villain. Momo's mother and her were on a business trip. Momo's mother decided to take Momo with her. As a villain, while they were riding in the car, a villain jumped on top of the car, ripped the roof off, tried to grab Momo's mother, but then a sword appeared. Then a sword appeared in front of the villain's hand, cutting it off. As Izuku then said, "You're trying to grab a woman who doesn't have anything to defend herself. You're such a stupid person, you know that, right?" As Izuku then kicked the guy with hockey on his leg, sending him flying towards the wall. As the guy then regrew his arm back, as Izuku knocked the guy out with a full-on hockey attack. Then Izuku looked at Momo as Momo's was a yellow eye. Then Izuku left. Then we go back to present timeline. Izuku was just waiting for Mr. Aizawa. Izuku sends Mr. Aizawa instead. "Aizawa, wake up." As Aizawa woke up and said, "Damn it, you know you could have just stayed quiet for a bit longer." As Izuku said, "Yeah, but what's the point of waiting that long?" Everyone that came already was shocked. They even asked, "How do you know he was there?" As Izuku then said, "Shut it." They all shut up and said, "Now do your speech, Aizawa, before I leave." As Aizawa said, "Okay, okay, okay, okay." Then Aizawa says, "Hello, everyone. My name is Shota Aizawa or Shoto Aizawa." As he said, "My name is Shota Aizawa. I am, if you guys may know me, I am Eraserhead, one of the heroes in UA, and I'll be your teacher. Today we'll be doing the quirk examination, so get ready and put on your PE uniforms." As everyone went to the room to change, Izuku was there changing. Izuku reached there before everyone else, so he changed already. As he went outside and looked at Aizawa. As everyone else came and Momo came, looking at Izuku, as Izuku looked at her with one eye, and she saw the same yellow eye. She said, "Okay then." So we continue. Then we see Izuku. Then we see Izuku's name being yelled out as Aizawa said, "Izuku!" or "Mihawk, it's your turn." As when Izumi heard Izuku, she was like, "No, that can't be him." As Izuku then smirked and said, "You quirkless? Your quirkless brother came back, Izumi." As he threw the ball with hockey, so everyone could see a red aura on his black ink appear in his hand as he threw it to the other side of the world, getting infinity. Then All Might was looking as he heard Izuku. Lisa was like, "This quirkless loser managed to gain power, but my little Izumi could gain more because she has one for all. Yeah, boys. I'm making him suffer. I'm making her suffer even more. Then we continue. Naruto was just training. Not Naruto. What the heck is wrong with me? Not Naruto. So yeah, this is the second part. This is the part where it was everyone else. If you guys already know, first place was Izuku, second place was Uraraka, third place was third place was Bakugo. No, third place was Bakugo. Fourth place was fourth place was Todoroki, and last place wasn't to anyone. As we continue, Izuku just was called for the other one. It was now the part where it was now the part where we trained for it was now the strength quirk. Izuku put his hand in hockey, punched it, and broke it. Next one was let me think. Then it was the jumping side to side. Izuku got second place. The jumping, he managed to get first place. Oh, running. Sorry, Ida. He got second place. Then we go to the second point of the series. We see Mr. Aizawa explaining about the USJ, and this happened after a few weeks after the test. After the test, we see All Might trying to search for Izuku, but Izuku is the mystery man. The mystery man, the one and only who disappears from everyone's freaking view. Izuku says, All Might. Uh, Izuku just said in his head, All Might must die. Let Izuku control that urge. As we continue, we see Izuku training and training on as we skip 2 weeks. Momo has started to gain a crush on Izuku because she remembered that this was Izuku. This man was the one that saved her and her mother. As we see, as we see All Might looking at Izuku from afar, he was shocked. As we having the hero versus villain fight. So yeah, I'm not gonna forget about that this one. This is why I wanted to do the movie. As the hero versus villain part. Izuku was with Momo and Bakugo and Izumi. As Bakugo was like, Tisk, let's kill this nerd. As Izuku just said, and let's see you die a hell in his head. Then we continue to where Izuku and Momo were walking. Momo was looking at Izuku until Izuku just said, "So what's wrong with you?" As Momo just said to Izuku, "Hi, Momo." As Momo says, not hi, Momo. As Momo said, Izuku. As Izuku looked at Momo and said, um, yes, Momo or Yagorosu. As Yagorosu says, um, then she says, Izuku, are you the guy who saved me from that villain? Let's say this was 2 years ago. As Enizuku said, the villain that can regenerate his body and start fighting again. She nodded, and Enizuku said, yes, I was him. Why? Then she said nothing, as she started to blush real hard. Then Enizuku just kept walking. As they reached how do you call it? They reached the building. Izuku then decided to jump. He grabbed Momo and Momo in a bridal style and jumped into the air as he reached above the house. Then he said, then he said, oh, then Izuku was, then Izuku saw a blushing Momo. A blushing Momo who was blushing heavily as she said, what was that for us? Izuku said, just to not get you get hurt. You wanna know why? As an explosion came from the bottom, and then Izuku jumped up, slashed his sword to the floor, making a hole. As then Izuku touched touched the bomb. As I Mr. Aizawa and All Might said, Hero Team wins. Hero Team wins because Izuku Midoriya didn't advance to fighting with uh sorry about the instruction as Izuku just smiled and said, well, Momo, looks like we got our first win. Say okay. Then we go we'll continue to the fight. As Izuku was walking towards the place where everyone else were at. Bakugo came in and said, Deku, come and fight me, you quirkless loser. Then Izuku laughs and says, me fight you? You can die a hell if you wanna fight me first. As Bakugo said, shut up, you quirkless nerd! As Bakugo went straight forward towards Izuku, as Izuku dodged it. Then Izuku landed on his legs. Izuku landed on his hands, kicked Bakugo into the air, and kicked him into a wall. Okay, so yeah, we continue. Izuku was smiling. Not smiling. What do I mean smiling? Izuku was smiling to see Bakugo's face on a wall. Yes, I made Izuku kicked his face, kicked his face first, then his body. As All My was shocked to see Izuku was holding power back. We see All My looking as All My says, as All My says, you won. But Izuku just looked at him and said, shut it. Then continue. So yeah, we skipped to the few weeks later. It was the USJ attack or the USJ. Izuku and Momo have been getting to know each other a lot more. Reasons why? Don't ask me just why just yet. So yeah, we continue. Izuku and Momo have been getting to know each other a lot because Momo wanted to get to know Izuku because he was the one that saved her and started to get a crush on him a bit, and this crush got a lot bigger because Izuku got has saving her all the time from Bakugo and people fighting him a lot. Then then Izuku just looks at Momo who keeps looking at him and smiling with a blushing face. I'm gonna mute. Izuku then says, Momo, would you like to go on a date with me? And sorry about the pause. Then Momo just, her face blew up. Yeah, like a tomato. So basically, since I say Izuku was 14, before, when, let's say something weird. Let's say they have a year before before going to the second year of UA because I want to do something in this series. So this is gonna be a one shot, not no more parts, just a one shot. As Isuku as Isuku looked at Momo, then Momo said, "I would love to." As Isuku smiled and said, "Well, see you after class." As Isuku and her, as class was over, this was the summer break. Yes, Isuku's birthday already passed. Isuku was 16 years old now. Aizawa had a fun time with with his students. The second year will be the USJ. I'm sorry if I said the USJ was this. So yeah, as we continue, um, All Might has been looking for Isuku and Inko as well, but they couldn't find him. As Isuku, as Isuku just looked, as Isuku just kept living on the forest where he had a house. Then we continue. Then we go to Isuku's. Oh no, not Isuku's day. We'll keep that in peace for them. Isuku and Momo's day went very well. Momo confessed her feelings to Isuku, and Isuku confessed her feelings to Momo. Yes, our boy Isuku, who we all think is heartless, isn't. He loves her because of how kind she is. Yes, and how pretty she is and everything. Then we continue to the part where next year everyone already knows each other, and then we go to the USJ attack. All my and everyone else were there early this time, as Mr. Aizawa told everyone to get on their hero costumes and get ready. We're going to the USJ. As Shizuku's hero costume is Mihawk's outfit. Yay! So we continue. All Might and Izuku were looking at each other with Izuku was looking at All Might with anger look, and All Might was looking at Izuku with saddened look, saying I'm really sorry. As Izuku just said nothing. He just he just minded his business and kept walking with Momo, who was clingy to Izuku. As all the other girls were getting jealous. Trust me, Izuku just let his face be shown in. Man, people will be in love. So yeah, we continue to the part where they reach the USJ. Then we see Kurishima saying, "Hey, Mr. Aizawa, who are those fake villains?" As 13 says, "No, those are not fake villains. Those are real villains." As All Might was about to enter, but Izuku just said, as Izuku appeared in front of them and said, "Conquer." As Izuku just eyes widened, all the villains were knocked out. Then he did it again to to not knock out Shiragaki. Oh, Shiragaki. I can't say his name very well. Shiragaki said, "Karagiri, make a portal and take us out." As he was in the portal, he was saying, "Not fair, not fair, not fair, not fair," with scratching his body. As the Noma was there fighting with Isuku, Isuku just said, "Eh." The creator of this is dumb and said he sliced the head off the Nomo and said, "Weak." All Might was shocked. All Might was like, "What the hell?" As all the villains were arrested. Then, then uh, Mr. Aizawa said, "Okay, everyone, we'll continue with this another day. We're leaving today." As we continue. Then we go to the. Let me see. To the what? Mm, let me wait. It was first USJ, then oh yeah, sport festival. Then at first it was a sport festival. I'm gonna pause real quick. Sorry about the pause. My throat really hurts, so I decided to go get something to eat and drink. So yeah, like I was saying, we're going to the sports festival now. So the sports festival is going to be this. So the first part of the sports festival was the race, but we're gonna go to the part where Mr. Aizawa says it. As Mr. Aizawa says, "Okay, everyone, we're going to be doing the sports festival." So everyone was like, "The sports festival isn't that like the biggest thing for every hero and for every hero in UA to show the people to become psychics for them?" Mr. Aizawa nodded and said, "Yes, so you guys better get ready to get an application from other heroes." Uh, they nod. Then they all went to put on their hero costumes, and we see them all leave to the sports festival. As we see, as we see them all standing on the race, Izuku was just standing with his sword on his back. So yeah, as Mr. Aizawa told them good luck. Then we see Aizawa sitting next to President Mike. As President Mike says, "Ready, set." Then just Izuku started to run. He dodged a part of the bridge. He then dodged all the meteorites because of. He then dodged all the dynamites that were under his legs because with hockey you can see them. Then the robots he just sliced through them with the small knife that he has. Uh, and he reached the end. As President Mike said, Izuku Mihawk, first place. As everyone was shocked, he didn't stop. As Izuku just sat down. As Momo came in as the same place as Izuku said, "Don't worry, Momo, you'll make it next time." As she smiled at her, and she started to blush and smile back. So yeah, after the fight where Izuku and Gran Torino had to fight against those other Nomos, I will be skipping at least a few years to the point where Izuku and Momo are high school to do the overhaul arc. Yeah, you're gonna see how I do it. So we continue. As Izuku looked at Midnight, Midnight said, "Okay, everyone, we're gonna do the spin of the wheel." As they spin the wheel and it landed on Calaberry. As Izuku said, "Calaberry." I'm gonna pause real quick and check who keeps texting me. Sorry about the sudden text. I was just trying to fix something. I'm gonna try to fix it again. Okay, then that might be better now for you guys. I'm really sorry if that noise was annoying you guys. So yeah, like I was saying, I'm gonna skip 3 years because Isuku's 16 now. 15, I mean. So if I skip 3 years, it'll be 18, and then I'll do the overhaul arc when they're in college. And you'll know where this is going if you understand what I meant. As Isuku said, "Okay, let's see if Momo want to be my team." As he asked Momo, "Do you want to be my team for the Caliber?" As Momo smiled and said, "Okay, of course." As Isuku smiled and said, "I'm so glad that she's my girlfriend." Yeah, boys, that's what she said. As Isuku, as Midnight said, "Ready, set, go." As Isuku told Momo to get on his shoulder, so Momo got on his shoulder, and Isuku, from the way that Momo was on Izuku's shoulder, she could see everything. As Izuku was just dodging people grabbing him, as Izuku grabbed the person that grabbed his headband. Izuku didn't have to because he had already 1 million points, meaning he has first place assured for himself already, and Momo. As Izuku looked at Momo and said, "Well, I'll have to just keep dodging and me and you will be going to the finals." As she smiled and Izuku smiled. Then Momo asked Izuku said, "Yes, Momo?" As Momo said something that she didn't want to say, and technically kind of, I technically, I think I said it to you guys. When we get older, do you ever think we'll get married? As Izuku just stopped for an instinct, and started to think. As his thoughts just couldn't progress what he just heard, as Momo said, "Oh God, I think I broke him." She thought about this and kissed Izuku on the cheek as Izuku woke up and said, "Hey, what was that for?" Being the normal Izuku we all know, as she laughed and said, "Well, that always works." As Izuku said, as then Izuku answered her question and said, "Maybe, but let's keep paying attention to this." As Izuku kept dodging all the hands and hands until Izuku was announced the winner. Then we go to the 1v1s. The 1v1s went to cannoning until Shinzo versus Izuku. Izuku versus Shinzo was pretty easy. Shinzo couldn't manipulate Izuku, as Izuku grabbed Shinzo by the collar and threw him out of the wall, but then he threw his knife and made Shinzo be holed up in the wall, as Izuku was announced instantly the winner. As everyone was shocked, he did it without thinking, because Shinzo had Izuku on his under his control. As Shinzo was shocked, this kid doesn't need his mind to even fight. As we continued to all the fights went to normal. Momo's fight went to the same. She still lost, and Izuku will try to make her feel better later. As she was just as she just waiting for Izuku to she just waiting for Izuku to beat Bakugo. As Izuku, it was Izuku versus Todoroki. As Todoroki said, "I will beat you with both of my sides." Yes, Todoroki got the speech from Izuku much earlier than he was supposed to get it. So yeah, as Todoroki threw two attacks, the final attack from the enemy at full power, as Izuku smiled and said, "Well then, full power it is." As his hands went into the armament hockey. His body was engulfed in a red aura. His sword was engulfed into that. As he put the red aura on his sword, and then he said, as he then swung the sword, releasing a massive blow. As Cementos did the same in the anime, he tried to stop it, but Izuku just deactivated the attack, appeared behind Todoroki, sent him flying towards a wall, and Todoroki landed on the floor. Cementos looked and said, "Izuku Midoriya, winner of the match." As Izuku smiled and said, "Well, that's all I had to do." As he put the sword back in his back and started to walk away. As everyone was shocked, Izuku Midoriya, or Izuku Mihawk, the loser of every school, has become strong. And yeah, if you guys want another of my already made Deku what is to be a movie, I'll do it, but maybe later when I check the comments, but not right now because after this I'm gonna need a few minutes of breaks or for today. As Izuku just went to Momo and smiled at her. As Momo said, "Izuku, you won." Izuku laughed and said, "I did." As she jumped to Izuku, and Izuku grabbed her into a hug. Izuku was just happy to be with someone that he actually treats him like a human, not like a tool for money. As we continue, all my all my came up to everyone. He did the same thing as in the anime, but Izuku grabbed the medal, put it on his neck, and jumped off. As All Might was shocked and said, "He still doesn't forgive me, does he?" As we continue, All My, I'm never gonna make Izuku forget All Might, but he's gonna forget such for his kids to meet his grandfather, to meet their grandfathers. As Izuku, as the fights were over, Izuku was sent. As Izuku just got off, stopped fighting, and went to. Now I'm gonna continue. Then we see Izuku just getting out of to the stadium as it was the end of the sport festival. He was walking around with Momo, as Momo said, Isuku, I think it's time for my parents to meet you. As Isuku just eyes widened and said that your pep. Isuku just went broken again as she said, I think I broke him again. As she kissed him again and Isuku woke up and was like, next time warn me. As Isuku just said, okay, let's go meet them. As Isuku was wearing a shirt under the Mihawk cloak. As when Momo's mother opened the door, she saw the same guy or kid that saved her and her daughter. As Momo said, Mom, this is Isuku, or as you guys may know him, the vigilante, Mihawk, who is now a hero. He is my boyfriend, as you can say. As then we see Mrs. Yadarozu and Mr. Yadarozu shocked. They looked at their daughter and they say, so your boyfriend with the vigilante that saved you from that villain that year? As Izuku smiled and said, don't have to give me all the credit. She did something too. As Izuku just smiled and said, yes, I am the one that saved her. So is there a problem, lady? Is there a problem, Mr. and Mrs. Yadarozu? As they said, no. It's just surprising that my daughter managed to find the person that she had a crush on since the time she since the time since you saved her. As Hizuku smiles and says, "Hey, you had a crush on me since the time I saved you." Uh, Hizuku then she nodded on purpose, and she looked at her mother and said, "No. It was." As Hizuku laughed and just kissed her and said, "Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Just next time, tell me if you have a crush on me." As Hizuku laughed and said, we continue to the part where Izuku was where to the part where Izuku kissed how do you say that? Kissed Momo and said, "Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. But you got to promise me that if you ever do that, that if you ever have a crush on me, I can just tell me." Uh, Momo smiled and said, "I will." Sorry about that. It was really loud mistake. I don't know why. So we continue. We see Mrs. Yarose is talking with Isuku. As Isuku said, as Isuku then said, so you're actually allowing me to stay with your daughter? As Mr. Yarose said, yes. Then we continue to a part where, so yeah, let me let me say this, Mr. Yarose actually was very glad that it was Isuku that she chose because she wanted to thank Izuku. As Mr. Yaro also thanked Izuku and said, thank you, Izuku, for helping my daughter and my wife survive that fall. So yeah, Mr. Yarosu said, Mr. Yarosu told Izuku that that if he wants anything they will do it. As Izuku then said, how about your daughter? As Yarozu, as Mr. Yarozu just said, looked at Izuku and laughed. But then, but then Mr. Yarozu said, okay then, Izuku, you will have the you will have the authority to marry my daughter. As Izuku then said, marry, as he just fainted. Then we continue. Then we continue to where Momo came in and said, what happened to Izuku? Izuku's, as Mr. Yararosu said, I don't know. He just, he just fainted when he said he's allowed to marry you. As Momo said, oh, I get it. Then he not that no, I was about to say he not Momo said, oh, okay. Then she kissed Izuku on the cheek and he woke up like faster than lightning should. Then we continue to where Izuku just laughed and said, "Sorry, Mr. Yaros, that happens all the time to me." So yeah, as Mr. Yagorosu said, um, well, Izuku, this was a very nice thing to meet you. So have a good afternoon, kid. As Izuku left the house, Izuku was like, "Yes! Now that I have the authority to marry her, yeah, you got where this is going. 3 years, 8 years old. So yeah, we're going to the applications. Yuzuku decided to go with Gran Torino, since the Gran Torino was technically a grandfather towards Izuku, so Izuku decided to go with him. Yeah, I want to keep some things to canon. I don't want to change it. As Izuku said, as Izuku went to the train with everyone else, as Momo left to hers. Then we see Izuku looking at Gran Torino as Izuku said, Hi there, old man." Then Gran Torino said, "Still calling me old, aren't you?" As the Gran Torino said, you never change, do you, Izuku?" As Izuku said, "Nope. Now that I have a girlfriend, I might change." As we see Gran Torino and Izuku going on patrol. So this is the part where the Nomos attack. Heroes were stopping the fires as Izuku was slicing Nomo's head off. As we see Lin Ida yelling in pain and Todoroki on the floor. As Izuku saw this and went over there to try to save them. As we see Izuku and Izuku and the hero killer Stain fighting with each other. As Stain was shocked. He didn't know he didn't know that let me see. He didn't know that there was a kid with this type of mastery over swords. As Izuku then swing once time, cutting Stain's arms off, not letting him be able to use a weapon. As Izuku then knocked out Stain. As the hero that was knocked out, and yes, Gran Torino gave Izuku his authority to be a hero. As Izuku carry mm, the knocked out hero. As Todoroki carried the knocked out Ida. As Izuku was carrying Stain in one hand. As he kept going. So yeah, we continue. As Izuku was on, he was looking at the police who was a dog, wondering, dang, people can actually have so many different quirks. So yeah, as Izuku was fighting with As Izuku brought the policeman, the hero killer Stain. As Stain was shocked, he told Izuku the same thing that happened in the anime. Stain came up as saying that no hero is a real hero. They're just out here for the money and fame. Uh, Izuku was like, I'm getting tired of hearing this. As he knocked Stain out, gave him to the police, and the police said, "Who gave you the permission to fight against this?" As Izuku said, Gran Torino. As Gran Torino appeared and said, "I gave him my permission to fight against Stain." So yeah, as everyone in the news heard about 16-year-old kid, Izuku Mihawk, was the one to arrest the hero killer Stain. As Stain went to jail, knowing that there was actually a worthy hero out there. Then we continue to the 3-year time skip that I was talking about, close to the overhaul arc. As Izuku, as we skip 3 years, because they're gonna have 3 years to train until they go. Let me think. No, wait. It's like this: 3 years. Izuku was 15. If we skip 3 years, he's gonna be 18. So basically, I'm making him adopt, kind of adopt Eri, but something else. So then we continue to the other part, to the other point. Izuku and Momo were hanging out a lot over those 3 years until they reached their 18 years old. This is where they're at UA College. Mr. Aizawa and Mr. Aizawa introduced them to UA College. Then Mr. Aizawa said, "Welcome to UA College. Today we'll be training you guys much harder than we did last year. As we're going as we're going to do as we're going to do the final examination for them in this one." So yeah, then we continue to this point as Mr. Aizawa sorry, I don't have COVID or anything. It's just I kind of was drinking and I somehow kind of choked on it. As we continue, Izuku, Mr. Aizawa says, "We're going to do the examination with you. The examinations will be on this year, seeing if you'll be able to get to this college." As as Izuku was with Momo this time. Not Momo. It was the same as the last one. Bakugo and Izuku. Izuku managed to get. Izuku managed to get it on her head. Izuku managed to get it on his head that they had to work together because Bakugo was afraid of Izuku, as Izuku managed to knock out All Might. As All Might, everyone was shocked. It only took one hand motion of his sword, and All Might was knocked out. As All Might went to then All Might went to the hospital. Yes, basically the hospital because he was knocked out. Then Izuku was announced to mm, passing UA, going to college, as the hero examination would happen around college as well. As this point would be, then we're gonna keep talking until I got an idea. As the final examination with finished the final examination with Momo, as Momo and Izuku passed. They were smiling at each other as Momo was holding on to Izuku's arm. As Izuku went with Mr. No, Izuku went with Momo to their house. As Izuku said, "Momo, I have something to give you." And let's say Izuku, well, he did that. He gave when he did the fighting the hero killer Stain. They gave money. He gave money. So basically, he saved that money. You want to know what he did? He bought a ring. A ring. The reason why I'm saying a ring is this. he bought a certain ring for a certain someone. And then we all know that this is Momo. As Momo and Izuku, when as Izuku told Momo to follow him somewhere, as Izuku and Momo were at a park, as Izuku checked his pockets and told Momo, "Would you marry me?" Yeah, in Japan, you're technically allowed to get married at 18 years old. Don't believe it? Search it up. So yeah, we continue. Izuku was Izuku said, "Will you marry me?" As he got into one knee with a ring getting showing. As Izuku looked at Momo, who was crying. Yeah, yeah, one shots do help. As Momo then yelled out yes a million times. As Izuku put the ring on her and they hugged and they kissed. As Momo and Izuku just decided to go to tell Momo's mom and father. As when they told them, Izuku was shocked to see the answer that he got. It was technically a smile. He was really happy for her. Momo's father and mother were really happy for their daughter. As Izuku was kind of shocked, but he didn't really care. Then he did care, but he didn't really care at the same time because he was still going to marry her, even if her mom and dad said no. Then we see, so yeah, as Izuku was happy for her and Momo, as Momo and Izuku would be having their wedding 2 weeks later. As they had the wedding 2 weeks later, Izuku and Momo got married. It was only their relatives. For Izuku was only Gran Torino and his friends. For Momo was almost all her family. Yeah, almost all her family. Don't know why. Then we see Izuku sitting on his couch talking to Momo. Now sitting on the dorm room of the UA. Yes, the dorm rooms was already found out because of the USJ. As the dorm rooms were already still, nobody knows that Momo and Izuku are married. As Izuku just gets up. So yeah, Izuku and Momo managed to get married, and every time people see the ring, they're just like, nah, it might be a fake ring. As Momo and Izuku one day got a questions from Kurishima. Kurishima says, "Momo, are you married with Izuku?" As Izuku just spit out the water that he was drinking, and Momo just laughed and said, "Yes, I am married with Izuku." As Izuku was like, "Wow, she actually managed to say it." So yeah, then we continue to a certain point. As we see Mr. Aizawa, who heard that from a mile, who heard that when he was coming to his dorm, he was like, "They're married." As he came barging through the door, he said, "They're married." As Izuku said, "Shh, the other ones are still not here, and I don't want to hear that." And they were like, "Too late." They heard you. As they look, Izumi was looking at Izuku with jealousy. Baku was looking at her with jealousy as well. And Izuku said, Shizuku said, "Well, since you guys already heard, yes, I am married with Momo. So what?" Shizuku grabbed her by the waist and kissed her, and said, "You see, she's my girlfriend." No, as he said, "My wife, I mean. We had the wedding like 2 weeks ago, and Mr. Aizawa went." As Mr. Aizawa was saying, "Yeah, I was just faking that I didn't go. I was just faking that I didn't go." So, yeah. Then we continue. As Shizuku said, "So now you guys know I'm married." As Shizuku Eyes went seriously. Don't don't touch my wife. Isuku just scared them all as they nod. All the boys nod, and even the girls. As Isuku then said, "Good. Now we'll be leaving." As Momo asked, "Where, Isuku?" As Isuku said, we're getting our license today, aren't we?" As Mr. Aizawa said, "Yes, Isuku, you were right." So yeah, Mr. Aizawa said, "Well, nice job, Isuku." As Isuku and everyone else left to the fun to the hero license exams. As every as everyone in canon passed, everyone in canon already passed. So yeah, then we continue to the final exams for the hero license. Everyone in canon passed like I said, but Todoroki and the other ones didn't. Everything went to canon there. As we're going to okay, I'm saving this part for later. So we continue. As we're going to the overhaul arc. Isuku Isuku sees Eri. As Isuku went to meet Mirio. As Isuku and Mirio met each other when Gran Torino explained to go to Sir Night Eye's place. As Gran Torino as Gran Torino told Isuku, as Isuku and Mirio met each other, as Night Eye said, do you have all for one for all? As Isuku said, no. So yeah, Isuku. If you guys are wondering why I went quiet for a minute, it's because something just came into my head and I just quiet for 2 seconds. So yeah, Isuku said this. Well, I don't have one for all, and I know what the heck is one for all. So we continue. Mm, so yeah, so yeah, all my and all my called Night Eye and told them about Isuku as Night Eye was disappointed in All Might, and then we continue. Then we're in this part. Then we're in Night Eye's office right now as Night Eye smiles and said, "Welcome to my agency, Isuku Midoriya." Or as Isuku said, "Don't call me Midoriya, Mihawk." As Night Eye, as Isuku and Miro were walking around the door, then Isuku and Miro were walking around. Mirio looked at his side and Izuku looked at his side as he saw a girl with white hair and a one horn, who looked to be around her 6 to 4 years old. As Izuku said, as Izuku said this, "Hey, little girl, what happened?" As she came straight to Izuku. As so yeah, Izuku. So we continue. Izuku sees a girl around her 6 to 7 years old as he just laughed. Then we continue to where we meet Overhaul as Izuku just looks at Overhaul with disgust as Izuku said, "Are you her father?" As Izuku said yes. So yeah. Then we continue to where Overhaul takes area as Izuku says, "Don't worry, Miro. I got a plan." As Izuku tells Sir Night his plan. So yes, Sir Night was really shocked to hear this plan as he agreed with Izuku and just said, "Okay then, we'll save her today." As he made a meeting with all the heroes in UA. The reason why I say Uraraka really like Izuku because he liked Momo, and yeah. Say it. So we continue to the parts where the meeting is over. Izuku was with all the with was already at Overhaul's base as Overhaul told tells the same thing to Eri as Eri says as Overhaul says, "Come on, Eri, it's because of you that all these heroes are dying. Come on." In that creepy tone that I really don't like from Overhaul, as Overhaul says. Then we see Overhaul as Overhaul did the same thing he did in the anime. He he grabbed one of his servant's body and combined it with his, gaining. Let me see, gaining a lot of things. No, gaining the same power and everything as Izuku was like, oh god. So yeah, then we see as we see Deku fighting against fighting against fighting against mm, fighting against shoot. I keep saying fighting against Overhaul. As Overhaul said, give her back. If you know how to use her right, she'll be the perfect tool. As Izuku said, she isn't a stupid tool, you bastard. He said that so low that not even he can hear it. Then we see Izuku grabbing Overhaul with black ink on his arm. And yeah, the training arc, I didn't forget it. It's just that I'm saving it because I want to make the fight happen later. As Izuku, as Izuku was slamming Overhaul to the ground, slamming and slamming and slamming him. As Overhaul was almost dead, as Izuku then took out his sword and said, and he called this slash, final slash, knocking him out, knocking out the hero kill, knocking out not killing Overhaul, but knocking him out. As Overhaul just laughed. Overhaul then laughed and said, "I won't bother you next time." As Overhaul didn't really care. As we continue. Oh, then Overhaul was arrested by all the police because Izuku gave all the police as Izuku was announced the hero of a little girl and taking down the mafia boss. As Izuku took care of him and told Mr. Aizawa that he would be adopting her. As Mr. Aizawa said, "Are you sure, Izuku? Isn't that a big responsibility?" As Izuku said, "Yes, but I don't care." As Mr. Aizawa. Then we see Izuku and Aizawa at court. As Aizawa said, Izuku Midoriya, who is illegally at the age to adopt a little girl like him or like her, as the court allowed Izuku to adopt her. Then we see so we continue to then we're going to see then we're going to see Izuku going back to his house as he sees Momo there. As Momo said, "Hey Izuku, who's..." Shizuku explains that this she is she is my daughter. As mm, Eri wasn't afraid of Izuku, as Izuku was nice to her. As she said, "Are you Papa's girlfriend?" As Izuku was kind of getting used to Eri calling her Papa. Yeah, I know this is not might be the real Eri, but yeah, don't blame me. As Izuku said, yes, she is my wife, or I mean your mummy. As she just started yelling out in happiness and said, "I have a mummy!" As she jumped at Momo and started to hug her. As Momo smiled and said, "Hey Izuku, you know we have to go to the training camp." Shizuku said, "Okay then, let's leave it at your parents' house." As Momo said, "Hey, Eri, you want to get ready to meet your parents, your grandparents?" As Eri said, "I'm going to meet Grandma and Grandpa." As Momo smiled and said, "Yes." As Shizuku and Momo and Eri started to walk towards Momo's house because Momo's house wasn't that far away from Izuku's. And she lives with Izuku. Yes, Izuku's house is really big. Don't trust me, I'm not making Izuku that broke. As Izuku reached the Yararosu house, Izuku tells them about Eri as they are really happy to have a grandchild. As they looked at her and they say, "Hi there, Eri. I'm your grandmother." As Eri said, "Grandma," and she just um jumped on top of on top of Momo's mother. As we see as we see Momo mother and father playing around with Eri. Then we see Suku saying like, "I'll see you in a few days, Eri. I'll be back." As Eri said, "Bye, Papa. Bye, Mama." As they both smile and left holding hands. As we skip to the training arc. As everything went to canon, Koda didn't get to Higisuku on the private spot. As Shizuku says, "Kid, you don't know what true suffering is." As Shizuku showed Koda his arm, he shows him the things that his mom and father did to him. As Shizuku said, I have lived through worse than you have, but you have only lost a family member. Now I have lost hope on life and everything like I have. Not until I met looking at Momo, as he said, a certain girl who saved my life. Then Momo smiles, as then we see, then we see Momo just blushing and saying, "Okay, okay, 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 okay. Koda, can you please apologize to Izuku?" As Izuku said, "Don't worry, I understand. He doesn't want us heroes to get killed because of things that he thinks we can't control." But as Izuku pat the kid's head and said, as Izuku said this, I don't care what he did that for. If he's doing this because if he's doing this because he wants to is his pro is his problem. He he just really needed someone to let out some sadness. Shizuku then laughed and said, as we see, um, let me say this. As we see Izuku training with all the other, not training, he was just flat. He was just sitting there looking because he doesn't need to train. As Izuku's one gets, as the hero attacks happens the same. Izuku wonder, is Koda alright? As as Izuku went to check on Koda. Koda Koda was shocked. Basically, Koda was shocked because Naruto, no Naruto, because Izuku appeared in nowhere, slicing's muscular's arm off. As Izuku said, "Don't worry, kid. We all make mistakes. Leaving your family alone, making and looking at muscular and saying and killing a little poor kid's father and mother wasn't something you're meant to do." As Izuku put his hand in hockey and punch muscular. Not even muscular muscle tissue can protect them. Then, then that's all I have to say. Shizuku managed to knock out muscular. As he put, as he put. So yeah, we see. We see Izuku carrying no muscular on one shoulder and Koda Koda around his arm. As Koda was wondering, "Why do you help me? Why?" So yeah, as Koda was laughing, Shizuku said nothing. "You remind me of my daughter." Then we see. Let's say the one thing. Koda. I say something. Koda was really happy to be with Shizuku because Shizuku just said, "You remind me of my daughter," and Koda just said, "That's it." And Shizuku said, "Yup. What else is there to say?" As Shizuku and Koda laughed. Then we see Bakugo descended and get captured. You know what? Yes, he did. As Bakugo got captured, stays in canon. Then everything went to canon until the over one for all versus all for one. As all for one said. Well. Toshi Noriagi finally managed to find me. So how is life, Toshi Noriagi? I heard your successor didn't manage to beat me. If you look at her over there, she's on the ground. You call that a worthy successor? She's not even half of my strength, you kid. As we see, all my say, what? Then we continue. All Might just said, "Damn it, I don't have enough strength." As All Might decided to fight with All for One. As All for One did, then said, "Let me show you the ultimate combination of all the quirks." As he combined all the quirks, making the same the same thing he did in canon. Everything went to canon until Isuku came. As Isuku says, time. So if we continue. So we see Izuku appear in front of All Might before All Might was about to get slashed by All for One. As All for One saw a force field protecting Izuku. As Izuku then said, "All for One, or All for One, nice to meet you." Sorry about that. I got it. As All for One said, "Well, isn't it the Mihawk kid?" As Izuku then said, "Who called me Mihawk kid?" Izuku then then uh uh then All for One says, "I know who you are. You destroy at least a lot of my fields. So how can I not know who you are?" As All Might laughed and said, "What are you doing here, young Midoriya, or young Mihawk?" So yeah, we see Isuku telling All Might to shut it and leave it to me. As All Might shut it and left it to All Might. As All Might was fighting with you, as All Might, not All Might, All for One was fighting with Isuku. As Isuku and All for One were having a fierce battle, and this was getting in camera, as the reporters were saying. A newscap, a young adult named Isuku Mihawk is fighting uh let's just say this. As the reporter says, he's fighting All for One, protecting our beloved symbol of peace. Izuku looked at All for One, kicked them in the face, landed as Izuku landed on his legs, kicked All for One, no, landed on his hands, kicked All for One to the air, jumped into the air, grabbed his sword, sent All for One flying into a wall. As Izuku then said, "Time to put all my hockey into the sword." As Izuku then put all his hockey into the sword, as he said, "Final slash!" As he swing the sword, making All for One sword go unconscious. So yeah, So yeah, All for One was unconscious now. Then Izuku looks at All Might and says, "All Might, hope you." As he was like, hope you. As he then went unconscious, Oh my God, Izuku, and took him to the hospital. As Eri and Momo went to the hospital and saw Izuku there. So yeah, we see Izuku wake up at least a year later. It was, let me say this. A year later, Izuku was 19 years old, and Eri is at least Eri is at least 7 at this time. As Izuku laughs, as Izuku looks at, as Izuku woke up and sees his daughter Eri laying on the ground, laying on his bed, and with his wife laying on his bed. As Izuku says, "Momo, Eri, wake up! It's me." As Izuku looks at Eri and wakes up as well. Uh, uh, as oh my, as Ink, not Inko, Momo says, "Izuku, you're awake." As Izuku then says, "I am. Why?" As Eri says, "Papa, you're awake." As Izuku and as Izuku and Eri and his no, as Izuku and his family hugged. Then he said, "Okay, I won't do it again." So yeah, as Izuku and walked out of the hospital, everyone saw Izuku, the guy with the giant sword. Everyone was shocked to see the hero who saved All Might. As we skip a year later, Izuku and as we skip a year later, this is where Izuku, as Eri was at her grandparents' house. Izuku and Momo were alone, as Momo told Izuku, "Could we have another kid?" As Izuku and Momo had a kid over that 1 year. He has hockey and a creation quirk, much better than than his mother. His name will be for now. Give me a minute. I'll be back. Give me a minute. I got a name for him. Izuku's son is soon to be named Ryu. Yeah, I came up with that in the spot. You can't blame me. As Izuku named his son Ryu, with Momo agreeing. As Izuku and Momo went to the as Izuku and Momo only had at least 9 more months until Momo had to give birth. So yeah, then then we skip another year later. Ryu is 1 year old and uh, and another thing and the area is 8. Uh, as Momo's parents were happy to have grandchildren, and they live a good life after that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is Phantom Lewis here, and my throat hurts. My voice hurts, so I'll be making a video tomorrow, not today. This is like the longest video I ever made. Thank you guys for watching. This is Phantom Lewis here, and this is going to be what if Deku was the reincarnation of Mihawk, the movie. or the one shot. Thank you guys for watching. This was kind of like the redo. I hope you enjoyed it, and goodbye. Basically, this is going to reach the one point. Yep. Give me an. So yeah, if you guys have any other redos you want to happen, if you guys have any other redos you want it to happen, just comment down below.